Hey, what's up, guys? Simon Edwards at PumaCom here with Heat Seeker Sports, and you're watching the Underdog Best Ball Show. We got a major trade today. We saw Micah Parsons go into the uh, Green Bay Packers. I'm joined by Spread Astaire today. We're going to go over all the latest news and dig into a draft right before the season starts next week, and we'll get into it right after this. What's up, guys? We are just 1 week away from the beginning of the NFL 2025 season. We got the Eagles versus the Cowboys kicking it off next Thursday. But before we get into all that, I'm joined today by Spread Astaire. Spread and I are going to review some of the recent news, including the Micah Parsons trade, and then we're going to dig into a best ball draft. So, Spread, what's going on, man? How's your offseason been going?
Man, my offseason has been going great. I mean, I thought that trading for Kenny Pickett was a bad move, man. But can you imagine being a Cowboys fan today? Being a Raiders fan, I can relate. I didn't think there was any way that we were trading Khalil Mack. And I even discussed this in a chat right before we jumped on where someone said, Parsons, this is the best player that's ever been traded. I go, I don't know. Mack's got a pretty good argument. But they're up there, right? And they're all pro, top 5 at their position. And you can never overpay an elite player. And it just shows you that there are certain franchises that are just completely hampered by their own. And if I'm Dallas, I'm so disappointed. Now, from a fantasy perspective, it should be great. If we had more time, we should be moving these Cowboys off the boards because I see a lot of 44-37 in the Cowboys' future there, as they should be able to put up points but won't be getting many stops. But that's my kind of biased version of this trade. I think the Cowboys made the mistake. It's funny. Tyler and I were talking on Tuesday, and I said I didn't want to pick Philly again. And he goes, well, who are you going to pick? Because, no one in the NFC really stands out. I mean, boy, if we had that conversation today, it seems pretty easy. If you don't want Philly, Green Bay seems to have positioned themselves as the second best team in the NFC. That's with Stafford's health being in question, because I picked the Rams when I was asked that question before. But it seems now that Green Bay's vaulted there into second in the odds to win the NFC, and rightfully so. What a steal. Packers fans are elated. And boy, I mean, what are you doing with those draft picks? You hope to draft another Micah Parsons?
Exactly.
To me, it's just simply foolish. What do you think?
I'm on the same page. It's just like you draft you use these number 1 picks just to hope you get a player like Micah Parsons, and then just to let him go for 2 2 first-round picks. It's just it just makes absolutely no sense. And just pay up. I mean, you paid for Zeke like 2 years ago or whatever, or a few years ago, and you won't pay for just a guy that changes the whole dynamic of your defense. So it just makes no sense to me. But I'm with you. I think it's going to be shootouts left and right now in Dallas, and those Dallas passing game is looking better and better, like with every Jerry Jones move.
Man, so one thing I got right this summer, right? All summer, I'm just drafting Keenan Allen in the Charger stacks. I didn't need the news.
Yep.
I'm disappointed. I did not think this was going to happen. I thought there's no way. This is all posturing. It's going to be like every other Dallas deal. He's going to sign a record deal the week before, and I am just shocked that they can make such a mistake. And hey, maybe they'll be proven right. Maybe they draft 2 Micah Parsons, but I think the chances of that are about the same as me getting hit by lightning. So I'll be careful walking towards looking at the clouds if they nail that first draft pick. But right now, this just seems like a terrible mistake, especially if we just put it in the vacuum of this upcoming season and not, just Dallas just lower their stock by. I would lower their win total by 1.5 games. I was telling my buddy I would move the line 3 points for opening night now. I think it goes from +7 to +10. I think it dipped into 6.5. But my point is, it's just such a mistake for Dallas.
Yeah, I do think that's going to make the showdown analysis that much more interesting, gonna have a showdown episode, coming up probably in the next couple days. I want to get it up early so that you guys got a nice head start heading into that showdown matchup next Thursday between Dallas and the Eagles. And it's on the Dallas side. We can already project what they're going to have for a strategy, but like whether or not they're going to be successful against that potent Eagles defense, it's going to be another story. But it's going to be a fun game to break down, especially now with that recent development.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that we're coming even with a hot take here. I'm sure any podcast or when you throw on your sports talk radio, I think that most people are going to agree with us. I think you have to be highly contrarian to think that trading an elite pass rusher in the prime of his career is a good idea. I mean, look how it turned out for the Raiders, right? All those playoff after they traded Khalil Mack, all those playoff appearances. Oh wait. Yeah, they're still searching to replace that guy.
Yeah, like from the Packers, for a best ball perspective, I mean this has got to be good news for Josh Jacobs, wouldn't you think?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Jacobs is the only one I think that it really affects. But if the idea that Packers defense can become a little better, more Jacobs in the fourth quarter, and boy, every year it seems like they want to bring someone in. And I know Wilson's the hot guy now, but Marshawn Lloyd seems to be snake bitten when it comes to staying healthy. Josh Jacobs, if you give him the opportunity, he's going to take that work, and he shows that his body is capable of doing that. So you got to like Josh Jacobs a little more. I just a quick question, Simon. This is a fun one I've been asking people all summer. Who would you, just in a vacuum, we're not worried about stacking right now, Josh Jacobs or Kyren Williams? Who do you think scores more fantasy points this year?
I'll go with Jacob. I like the Rams a lot this year, but I think it's going to be more of a passing game situation for the Rams this season. But I do like their schedule, and I do like Kyren, but I do think that Josh Jacobs I kind of like better.
Yeah, well, one thing that Jacobs has going for him is it's much easier for me as Sean McVay to pull on some of those backups, Blake Corum, and then Hunter is the third string, but he's like pretty good. He might actually take Corum's carries, right? As high as we were on last year on Corum, maybe taking over for Kyren. Now it looks like Hunter might be taking over for Corum. So when you have a nice depth in your running back room, I think it makes it a little easier if he wants to dial back the workload on Kyren. But an argument to the contrary is he probably knows Williams is gone pretty soon anyways. Might as well just run him in the ground a la Todd Gurley and let someone else pay too much for a Toyota Camry that has 200,000 miles on it after its fifth year.
Yeah, I will say with the Rams, they do have an easier running back schedule this year. The Rams are
and a way better playoff schedule.
Yeah, way better playoff schedule. They're playing the strength of schedule, the 20th easiest strength of schedule versus Green Bay, which is at the 23rd. So, like a middling for the Rams, a bad strength of schedule for the Packers. Packers have 3 dome games versus the Rams, which have 9 dome games. That tends to favor, maybe a little bit more towards the passing game if you're the Rams. So, I would say, Green Bay, like just knowing, like the weather situations and stuff like that they're going to deal with, it's going to lend itself more towards a, like a running situation as opposed to what the Rams would be facing.
Yeah, I think those are these fun decisions. And hey, if both players score, close to equal amount of points, it won't really matter. But sometimes these are the tough takes you have to make in order to advance. And it sucks. It's fun when both players stay healthy and you get it right. It sucks when it's an injury, and that's the reason you get it right. So we'll see how healthy some of these players stay this year. I think that last year the number one stayed pretty healthy, Simon, more than I expected. I know we had a lot of 0 RB builds that didn't matter. I'm thinking all my Marshawn Lloyd and my Kendre Miller and all these backups that I expected. Blake Corum as well. They expected to take over and they didn't do it. So We'll
Yep.
see if we return to the norm this year, or if running back health is the new trend.
Yeah, we've had some other interesting off-season moves in the last couple weeks, actually. Like one that I kind of like is the Detroit Lions got rid of Tim Patrick and Isaac Tesla, or I'm not sure the pronunciation
Yeah,
exactly.
just call him Tesla. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that better. Like he's been ripping it up in the preseason. So what are we thinking here for him as a late round flyer?
Yeah, I don't mind at all. He's been one of the players I've been targeting. We talked about a little Pat Bryan earlier in that range. I know that Kyle Williams goes a little higher. I like him as well.
Torrey
I don't
Horton.
mind taking Torrey Horton and Jalen Noel are the other guys I target in that range.
Yeah, Torrey Horton had some interesting news too with Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He's out in Seattle now. So, like I did a mini video, a short on my feed on Torrey Horton a few weeks ago, and that ended up being could end up paying off, because I think that he's set up now. The one of the things that I pointed out in that video that was Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Cooper Kupp were just like an injury away from him climbing the depth chart, and that happens before the season even starts. So going to be a good situation.
He also has a different skill set than Kupp and JSN, and that was our concern. And we think we talked about it when I drafted with you earlier this season. Still like Kupp as a player. I think he's got a little left to give, but boy, to go to an offense where, the young up and coming receiver who's probably better than him at this point of the career does the exact same thing, didn't seem to be the best landing spot. Maybe, being in the division, get the revenge. That was his motivation, but I'm curious to see do they go 4 wide, or, how do they deal with having their 2 best receivers both do best out of the slot? Does Kupp take one for the team and go out to the X? Because I don't know if he's fast enough to be the X anymore. Or are you going to do what you did to JSN in his rookie year and play him in a position that didn't help him at all? So interesting decisions in Seattle, and I'm so curious to see how that will play out.
Yeah, another rookie. Spread and I both been targeting is Deontay Thornton. Spread being a Raiders fan, why don't you tell us a little bit about him and what your thoughts are on him right now?
Yeah, so Jack Beck was actually drafted ahead of Thornton. But here's the thing, and we just talked about fit. Beck's skill set, right, is an underneath player, likes to run those routes in the middle of the field, more of a handsy player that relies on precision. Kind of overlaps with the skill set of Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers. Now you have Thornton, and he's a speedster. Okay, they got Trey Tucker as a speedster, but he's 5'11". Thornton's a speedster at 6'4". The reason he fell so far, measurables are, I don't want to say elite, but they're that of a consistent wide receiver 2 in the NFL. The reason he fell was he didn't have the production in college. He just wasn't coming down with the ball. Didn't have rapport with his quarterback. So let's see if that was one of the things where the quarterback and the offensive coordinator just weren't skilled enough to get in the ball and make use of his skill set, and the Raiders can do it. Or if it's an issue of, and we've seen this before with guys, Kyle Pitts and Noah Fant come to mind for me. Just 2 guys with elite measurables that, really struggle to translate it on the football field. And just because you can, run fast and jump high and you weigh a lot and you bench a lot doesn't necessarily mean you'll be a good football player. So Thornton is exciting. He's been moving up the boards a lot, but like I said, it's because he brings a unique skill set where Beck, Myers, Bowers all are kind of going to do the same thing.
Yeah. So a lot of good rookies in this class. A lot of overlooked. I guess you could consider them overlooked too, because they're all going beyond the 10th round with the guys that me and Spread like. So of course we like the Mecca Buka and all the obvious ones that go in the early rounds. But those late round rookie receivers are going to be some interesting picks. You still got a week.
Speaking
left.
of rookie receivers, where did you land on Luther Burden? I've been high on him, but I wonder if I'm the more he misses training camp, the more I think that even if he's a good player, we don't really get it this year. Maybe he's alive for the playoffs. It's a tough target share competition room too.
He got a lot of hype early on in the pre, or the off season. Yeah. I was never on there because he was going at a point in the draft that was just too early, and it was going up against yeah, I can't remember who was ADP wise in his range, but I just had players that I like better, and I like targeting those late round guys. Like you could get Horton and Tesla and Thornton, like very very late in these drafts, and those are the guys that I've been using as my late round flyers. And it's really hard to find running backs in those late rounds, at least for me. So I've been targeting those running backs, I think, more in that Luther Burden range.
All right. Yeah. And that's fair enough. Like I said, I do think Burden's even a good player. I just wonder if you're going to draft him and just be like, man, 1 year too early.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe see a little breakout towards the end of the season, and maybe he spikes into your lineup week 7, week 9, once he gets some overall chemistry with that offense. But boy, I mean, Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, that's an awesome one too. I'm really surprised they even drafted Burden, and actually probably a disappointing landing spot for him. Comparatively considered, he could have gone to like Los Angeles or New England or even Seattle. I think his skill set would have complemented JSN a lot more than Cooper Kupp, or he could have complemented them both. So, you know, it's just so funny how, boy, there's so much luck involved, not only in our pod luck that we won't be worried about in this contest we're going to draft today, but also with these players' careers. I mean, when you talk to, you get drafted to the Bengals, you get drafted to the Chargers, you get drafted to the Browns. It's just, boy, it's really tough to make a good career when you're on those terminally bad organizations.
Yeah, for sure. And on top of that, let's like Chicago also, drafted a stud tight end, and they got Cole Kmet there still. They got so they got 2 receiving tight ends there. They got Odunze, who's has an impending sophomore breakout.
Yeah, I think he's going to do great. I love Odunze this year.
Yeah, and we got DJ Moore, of course. So that's a lot of competition for a guy like Burden. Like it's going to be difficult for him to do anything this year, I think.
Yeah.
All right, Spread. So, guys, hit that like button. I'm looking for about 20 likes. Help me get this showdown video out early. I want to try to get it out probably on Monday. If not before then, I want to try to get it out as soon as possible. And also make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you haven't followed us, like we crush it on showdowns. There's been numerous shows over the past few seasons where we Spread joined me. We've broken down these showdown shows, showdown games, and we've just absolutely crushed it. I can't even count how many winning lineups that we built on the show where the lineup ended up shipping the big DraftKings contest. So, we have been on fire with showdown takes. Last year we had a week. I almost shipped 118K with a showdown lineup that built on the show. The specific one that we built on the show ended up hitting. Spread ended up hitting with that. So it kind of shifted, but I was glad Spread ended up shipping that week. But we've had many more weeks where we just built the winners, and our viewers just absolutely crushed with the lineups we were building. That's coming out next week, so subscribe to the channel so you can get the alerts on when those shows come out. We'll be doing it all season long, man. It's a fun format to do, and it's always been my best format personally. So make sure also to sign up for an Underdog account as we get to this this Underdog draft here. We're going to be doing a sprint today, and a sprint is a little bit different format than Best Ball Mania. With sprint, you got to sign up for an Underdog account. Use the promo code SEEK, SEEK. That's going to get you a 50% deposit match up to $1,000. They're switching that promo up, so take advantage of it now while you still have a chance, and get that big deposit match before it goes away. But yeah, like the sprint, you're basically in a pod for the first up until the playoffs, the best ball playoffs, and you're in a 12-person pod. You want to advance out of that pod, and then you go into a giant pool, which is takes away that stupid pod luck, like Spread was talking about, and puts us into a much a much better situation, in my opinion. Spread
Simon,
one.
can you clear up one thing for me? Is it just
Yeah,
all 3 weeks for the sprint, or do certain people get eliminated after the first week? I was under the impression that even if you have a bad week 15, you're good.
So it's week 1 through 14 are the qualifiers, and then week 15 through 17 is the championship.
So, but I'm just saying, like, let's just say none of my guys do anything
Hmm.
in week 15. I'm still alive, right?
Yep.
Whereas in the traditional Best Ball Mania, like I ride Josh Allen all year, and then he has 6 points in the week 15, and you lose. Okay, great.
Yep.
Just wanted to clear that up because I do think that's one of the reasons it makes it fun.
Yeah, I do too. Like I'm excited about this format. I think it's going to be. Let's see. Let me get rid of that. I think it's going to be like my favorite. Probably moving forward, I would focus on this more than Best Ball Mania, to be honest with you. Like Best Ball Mania, obviously, bigger prize pool and everything, but like I am just tired
and a little
of
prestige from winning, right? Like I never see a show on YouTube that says the sprint winner from 2024 is coming up, right? I mean,
exactly.
The Best Ball Mania winner is kind of like the World Series of Poker. Even though you might not be the best poker player, you do get the name recognition from that. So I think that kind of drives it a little bit too. Even though if you were purely concerned with making money, I don't think it's the best contest.
Right. Exactly. So I think like the thing that I like about Underdog, especially this season, is that they've been experimenting with some of these formats. I think the sprint debuted maybe last year, but like besides the point, like they've been doing some cool experimentation with these best ball drafts, and that's what happens when your platform basically was built on these best ball drafts. They also got a lot of cool pick 'em contests and stuff like that you can do. Spread, what has your strategy been this season with your best ball drafting in general?
If like it was just one off, I'm trying to do my very best strategy. Obviously, diversity is key, and we go back and forth on them. But my favorite strategy has been we're waiting for a little while.
It's
my best strategy has been I like anchor RB this year, and I push tight end back. Yeah, and I don't mind pushing quarterback back either because I think the CJ and Jordan Love are both so low. I still can't believe that like Bo Nix is ahead of those guys, and there's Herbert's ahead of him. Sometimes I'm just shocked personally. So I've been doing anchor RB, load up on the wide receivers early, push tight end back, and I push quarterback unless I get an excellent ADP value. And of course, sometimes we switch it up. Like I'll grab Matt Bowers or McBride here or there just to make sure I have a little bit of exposure, especially Bowers, one of my favorite players. However, I just think the draft capital is too high for the lowest scoring position.
Yeah. So did you say you've been waiting on quarterback?
Yeah, unless I get like an ADP value, like if Lamar or Jaden falls. Yeah. Josh Allen usually doesn't even fall. So
right.
I mean, I would, but that's not like very likely.
Yeah.
But I see Lamar fall. I see Jaden fall sometimes. And Jalen Hurts can be a faller as well.
Yeah.
So I like to I'll grab some ADP value there, and then I'll be like, I didn't choose the elite quarterback build. The elite quarterback build chose me on some of those. I never go in planning on drafting a quarterback high.
Right.
So that's how I've been doing it.
That's been similar to what I've been doing. One thing that I've been trying lately, Spread, and you might like this too. If I get those a mid-round pick, like the like 6th round or something like that, I like going back to back on those RB1s. Pick a stud running back. Like sometimes Jahmyr Gibbs or Barkley will fall to me in that like 5 through maybe 7 spot, and then that 2nd round snag Bucky Irving or Chase Brown, and then
double anchor, huh?
Okay. Double anchor, and then grab Josh Allen in round 3, and then that wide receiver depth just falls to you for the next like however many rounds, and then you just stack up your wide receivers, And by the time you get to like the area of the draft where it starts to thin out, then you're able to just kind of pick up those Josh Allen receivers, build yourself a nice Buffalo stack, and kind of go like that. But that's kind of been a strategy that I've been using lately. It's been a fun way to draft. Maybe we'll get a chance to try that here if you're up for it.
Simon, you might not like this. I've been out on Saquon Barkley this year.
No, I have too. But I didn't like
out of
him.
All the first round running backs, I have the least of him. He's the only one. I mean, we probably got him once just to do an Eagle stack for fun.
Yeah.
But I've been doing, if I'm sitting at 3, I'll grab Jefferson or Bijan instead. For me.
The beginning of the season
or
when
CD.
Beginning of the season when he was going first overall or first and second overall, I didn't draft a single like Saquon share. If he falls though, like to, like a 7, like a 6, 7.
Have you been seeing that? I haven't seen it.
I've seen it a couple times. Okay. Yeah, it's happening more recently than it was like earlier in the off season. But like every once in a while, you'll be able to to get a sneaky pick a little bit later, middle of the draft of him.
Yeah. So these sprints been filling up. I see we're only waiting for 6 people.
They've been filling up all right for me up until this point, actually. Like I think this is the first time I jumped into one and I needed 11 more to fill. So I haven't had
to wait. That one just probably filled right before us, right? So
yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, exactly. So not too bad. Like it's what do we got? 6. So we only need 6 more right now. So we'll see how quickly it takes to fill. But like this is good, because if this sprint it's only half full, like if it has trouble filling in the next week, like then we're talking overlay with this contest too. So it means your chances of
overlay on underdog. I didn't even know that happened.
Oh yeah, yep. With underdog, if there's overlay, like they'll typically like advance like the highest scores that didn't advance out of their pods. I don't know how that would work with the format of the sprint. I would imagine it'd be the same, because they're going to want to get the same amount of people into that that round 2, that championship round.
Yeah.
At least I think that's what they would do, unless they just have like less people in that championship round.
So when it comes to first round picks, my second lowest exposure, Christian McCaffrey. Simon, Is an old guy myself. Is this some self-hatred that I'm kind of afraid of these older running backs? What is your take on Christian McCaffrey there with an ADP of 7?
Dude, I'm old too, and I took a deep breath the other day, and my back was out for like the whole day. So like I haven't drafted any Christian McCaffrey either. And Saquon, like I said, I have been mainly avoiding him, but I have been drafting a little bit of him as his ADP warrants it.
Yeah. So let's see. Puka Nacua is another interesting one with the news of the Stafford I don't want to say injury, but he's obviously not 100%. Puka has been falling. There's also good arguments of why the guy that was wide receiver 27 went in the top 12 this year. And now I understand you're going to say he missed 5 games. Why am I just supposed to immediately assume he's going to be durable this year?
You talking about
durable as rookie? Yeah. So I'm not against Puka, and I've drafted him plenty, but I kind of do believe the fall is warranted, and I don't necessarily. I kind of think the market's right here. I think maybe we overvalued him when he was going at 8 at the very beginning of the summer. What do you think of Puka Nacua?
So my thoughts on Puka are the Rams have the second best schedule for wide receivers based on last year's defenses, and they playing in 9 dome games, and they replaced Cooper Kupp obviously with Devontae Adams. But I think that is actually beneficial for Puka Nacua. It's going to take less attention. He's going to have less attention on him. But I do think that, like every time that I've tried to go against Puka has bit me in the ass. And I think that he's just a stud. And like I like the Rams in general this year already. I think that Puka is probably the player that I have the most exposure to because like again, my luck with these drafts, I've been falling on the back half of these drafts for the most part. So I've been drafting, like Puka a lot, just where I have him in my rankings. So like I do like the Rams passing game a lot this year. I'm hoping that Matthew Stafford doesn't deal. I'm more concerned with Matthew Stafford's injuries than I am with Puka Nakua's. But I will say that Jimmy Garoppolo playing under a good, like offensive coordinator and coach like McVay. We saw Baker have his breakout under McVay, and then he continued that in Tampa Bay. But McVay has a tendency to bring out good performances out of these quarterbacks, similar to what we see with Shanahan. So I'm not overly concerned about if Matthew Stafford gets an injury in the season. It will suck, but at the same time, it's not going to kill Puka Nakua's value. But I do think that Nakua is set up to have a nice season this year, and I do like drafting him.
Devontae Adams, then you should be high on him. I mean, I could argue that at this point in their careers, obviously, you'd want Puka for the rest of, more attractive as a trade asset because of the age. But I could argue at this age of their careers, he's just as good a player. We can get him 2 rounds later. Are you high on Devontae as well?
Yeah, high on both of those guys. Devontae is actually a target that I was talking about when I'm doing my my 2 running backs and then Josh Allen in the first 3 rounds. Devontae Adams in that 4th round is sitting there staring at me a lot, and I draft him.
I love that build. I'll tell you what, Simon, if we're doing this show next year at this time and Devontae had a similar season to Puka, pretty close in the overall fantasy points, I would not be shocked at all. Boy, and how mad is he going to be if Stafford really is hurt and he has to play with Jimmy G again? So this thing could all blow up in our face, I mean, and I have, I don't think PTSD is the right word, but definitely some bad memories about drafting Christian McCaffrey all summer. And then, we find out that he's not really part of the team, which was so disappointing, of course, for those of us who had believed what Kyle Shanahan is saying. Are you trusting Sean McVay? Do you think he's being honest with us here that Stafford's going to be good to go?
I don't know if I trust any coach with their injury evaluations, but I will say that I think that the Jimmy G thing will be much less of a concern with Sean McVay as the coach and involved in the offensive coordination, just because he's going to be teeing up a lot easier receptions for Adams from Jimmy G. I think he's just going to be set up much better where like the taint of Jimmy G won't be as bad.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. If McVay works his magic there, do we just put him in Canton at the end of the season?
Yeah, pretty much, man.
It'd be one way. He gets one over on Kyle Shanahan one more time. Detroit obviously is an interesting situation, and we see Jahmyr Gibbs, even though he's ranked at 6th, ADP of 4.5 currently in this contest. The 2 concerns for Detroit: losing Ben Johnson and losing Frank Ragnow. Do you think the Lions offense continues to hum? Because we saw this in Philadelphia where you got the rah-rah coach that gives great speeches. Without the coordinators, things can go wrong. Your take on Detroit, and are you targeting their players? I'll tell you what, I'm neutral on them. I'm not going out of my way to get them, but if they fall to me, I don't know where we're going to be at, but if we see Gibbs at 6 or 7, I'm fine with it. I'm not taking him at 3 though.
I don't mind Gibbs like earlier in what do you call it, in the PPR format. I think he's a better pick there. But if he's falling to the mid first round, I really don't I don't hate grabbing him there, because like I said, I like if I'm in the mid rounds, I like taking a stud receiver like that. But as far as Detroit in general, I think that um, Dan Campbell is a much better coach than Nick Sirianni. I think that Sirianni's like kind of a goofball who depends on his coordinators. I think that with the Lions, Campbell was really the guy that
But
instilled
can I
the
say that
confidence.
Campbell's just a badass who relies on his coordinators?
Yeah, no, he is.
Right?
He is. But I will say that I think the coordinators feed off of Campbell better than coordinators feed off of Sirianni. I think that Sirianni's more dependent on his coordinators, whereas the coordinators in Detroit, the dynamic is different there. I just think Dan Campbell's a better leader, and I think that he will empower like his coordinators, and I do think that there's some what's the word I'm looking for where it stays consistency with continuity, yeah, with the coordinator coming in. Where do you come from?
The coordinator was like the quarterback's coach.
Quarterbacks coach,
or like passing coordinator or something like.
Right.
They're going to run the same system. They didn't change the
Right.
play. I mean, I'm sure they changed the terminology and stuff. So,
Gotcha.
because they're playing the Bears twice, right? But
yeah, yep.
That'll be interesting when they match up. They should be really familiar with each other.
Right.
Really familiar, and I wonder who that gives the edge to. Right now, I almost wonder if it gives the edge to Johnson. But the fact that Campbell was overseeing that so much, I wonder if he's going to think this is everything I hated about that offense. Let's go ahead and take advantage of it. And I always love when the former coordinators face off an old head coach, because who has the edge, right? They both know each other, right? They both know what's going on in the other room, and I think that's going to be fun. And wow, I wasn't necessarily happy with the Ben Johnson of the Bears news, just because, we talk about poor organizations, and I kind of put Chicago in that group as well. I don't know if their ownership is really that good there. Oh no, Simon, we went from 2 to 5.
Oh no, it went to 5 people. Jesus,
they really want us to break down the whole draft. All right, Simon, let's scroll down a little bit. Let's break down the second round. I got some Bucky Irving takes for you. Let's scroll down a little bit and let's start talking about some of these players potentially in the second round. I mean, I think as we're scrolling by, I think that Neighbors, Thomas, Nico, I think those are all just fine. I think the ADP is perfect. So if you land there, grab them. I don't think that they, you need to go out of your way to get them. St. Brown's been dropping. Are you surprised by that? He was a first-round pick earlier this summer. Now down to the second. Maybe people concerned with that coordinator stuff I was just talking about.
Yeah, I have trouble pulling the trigger on St. Brown. Although I do think, like from the analysis that I've heard of the direction that the offense wants to go, they want to focus on their main components. So as opposed to like those random situations where you saw like a Tim Patrick have like 2 touchdowns in a game, guys like those ancillary players, I think that Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra are going to be, along with Jahmyr Gibbs, the focus of the offense. And then obviously Montgomery will get his moments. But I think those 3 guys are the dynamic playmakers on the team, and I think that they're going to be the focus of the offense. But I have been having trouble pulling the trigger on Amon-Ra over some of these other guys who I like more, because he's going in that range where you got Nico, you got Malik Neighbors, you got Puka Nacua, you got Brian Thomas, who I like.
Well, he's not really going in that range anymore.
Yeah. Well,
the man behind him, though, that I keep drafting, which is why I don't have a lot of Amon-Ra, give me Drake London.
Yep.
Because the target share. His target share was so high with Penix. And this is what happened when you're a young guy. You're never going to get yelled at for throwing to your best player, right?
Right.
I'm not too worried about my third wide receiver throwing a tantrum on the sidelines, right? But I don't want my number 1 over there pouting and being pissed off. And he seemed to understand that right off the bat. Not to mention, if a guy's open, it's pretty easy to justify your decision to throw it to him. I love Drake London there in the second round. Derrick Henry, I will do this in gambling too. If you brought me on and just bet some football, I said, don't bet against the streak. How many years have we said he's going to fall off? I'll just keep drafting him until he does. And that 1 year I'll be sad. But I've got like 3 or 4 years that he's supposed to be terrible. And this was supposed to be the last year. And he couldn't keep doing this, right? And he couldn't keep getting away with it like that Breaking Bad meme where Jesse's mad at Walt. He can't keep getting away with this. That's the way with Derrick Henry, right? I mean, he's him and Adrian Peterson, probably have some similar training habits or some similar DNA, because those guys they defy logic when it comes to running back health. Let's talk about my favorite team, but I'm not sure what to do with this player take, Simon.
Yeah.
I like Ashton Jeanty a lot. What do you think, though? Could this be one of those things where they get behind so much they're not running? He's not as good as advertised. We get some great highlights, but we're not just getting the day in, play in, play out, 4.5 yards a carry. He's getting stuffed a lot. Looks a lot easier in the Mountain West than it is in the AFC West. What are your thoughts on Jeanty?
I like the landing spot. I just think with these rookie running backs, like we rarely see like one of these rookie running backs come out like out the gate, like with one of these, like top 5 performances.
Who was the last one to do it? Zeke, and then I'm thinking Chris Johnson before that.
Yeah, maybe Saquon. Like I can't remember if he.
I don't think he was the top rusher that year though.
Right.
He had an excellent rookie year, but he wasn't top rusher. The last one I remember to actually have the most rushing yards, and I'm going off the top of my head, so I should probably just Google it. I'm in front of my computer. But Ezekiel Elliott, and I'll do that right now if you want to. Give me any more thoughts about Jeanty before let's see how many rounds we can get done. We'll probably be on our 7th round breakdown by the time this.
So Jeanty, it's a great landing spot. He should be in a offense that likes to run the ball a decent amount. He's got Geno Smith. They got a competent quarterback, so they're going to be able to move the ball. It's probably the best situation for that we've seen for the Raiders since God, why am I brain farting on the previous coach? Not the Patriots
McDaniels?
guy. No, the one before, the one they got fired.
Antonio Pierce?
No, the one before that. There's been so many.
Bisaccia, Gruden.
Gruden, dude. Like, why couldn't I think of Gruden, man? That was a complete brain fart.
Yeah, that's why I didn't bring him up, because I'm like, how could you forget Gruden?
Yeah.
He's the only personality.
Like one thing that I'll say too, man. Like I loved his breakdowns on YouTube last year when he would break down like those individual games. Gruden Loves Football was the name of the show. He joined with Barstool now. He joined with freaking Barstool now, and I don't know if he's going to continue those shows. Like, that sucks.
I don't see why they wouldn't put those out. Those were great.
Yeah, I know. They were like they were one of my favorite.
He gets so fired up about like a backup linebacker.
Yeah. And this
guy came out of Mississippi State and he's a 3rd-year player.
Dude, that week where I almost won $118,000 was because I watched Gruden break down that game, and he was talking up this backup running back, Samaje Perine, when he was on the Chiefs.
He was saying,
that week. Okay. Yeah, he was on the Chiefs by then. Like, and he was talking about how there's going to be a spot where like they pass it to Samaje Perine. He's going to get his opportunities in this game. And I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll try Perine. He's only like a few $100, and I plugged him in, and that lineup like had me in first until the very last play of overtime, and I'll never forget. It was because of Gruden's analysis that got me on Perine. Otherwise, I wasn't even thinking about him. Yeah,
that's so great. Because for me, I binge content, and then about halfway through the summer, it's like, okay, right.
Yeah.
How much more stuff we can get. And then once the week-to-week stuff starts happening, it's like, maybe when we were kids, a new TV, when the new TV season comes out, right? We don't have to watch reruns anymore.
Yeah.
We've all had, my player takes are what they are, right? You know, I'm high on Bijan, lower on Saquon, high, neutral on Gibbs, low on McCaffrey, high on Genty. I mean, I've said these all a bunch of times, and so if you've been watching the content, you kind of know where I'm coming with a lot of these picks. Simon, I was disappointed. I thought we were going to be able to break down all 180 top players before this draft filled up, but instead we got stuck at the turn, which is kind of good for content purposes because it gives us plenty of time to discuss things, right?
Right.
I know we're not live. I always like being on the turn when I'm doing live shows because I can check the chat, right? And I have like 22 picks to kind of go through all the comments, and they're usually making fun of me and my player takes, but that's part of what we do here. How do you want to do this? I mean, obviously we're going to wait and see who's available. Do you want to go 1-1 here, or if there's 2 wide receivers that fall, do you go 2 wide receiver start? How do you like starting here on the turn? I try to go 2 wide receivers, but I'm not against, I'm not against it. But see, right now, none of these running backs seem to be falling.
Now, this is where I've been doing the 2 receiver build. I'm disappointed because after building up that mid-round strategy, like we end up getting the back end. My absolute brutal luck as far as underdog punishing me in the 12th pick continues year after year. We get it here again, spread, and
good for content. Tough to make the right team though. All right, let's move over to the players. We're up next after this one. Boy, I was hoping Neighbors might fall. That's not going to be the case. I mean, I don't mind BTJ London at all.
Yep.
And I don't mind Henry London either. So we went 2 wide receivers though. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that's a good start here. We got to start thinking of those mid-range running backs though, because I still want a real anchor. I don't want to go in with 5 backups.
Right.
So now we're not going to get into this A-Chain Brown, Jacobs, Chase, Chase Brown area. Jonathan Taylor's not going to be there. So can you just go just to running backs real quick, and we'll kind of plan it out, and then we can head back to the main screen and just talk about how these other people are drafting. But I like to kind of plan ahead. Just click on running backs only. So Hampton probably won't be there, but if he is, I love him. So I haven't drafted James Cook at all this summer. Simon, talk to me. Am I making a mistake?
No, I've been fading him too. He hasn't played. He hasn't done anything in the preseason really until 2 weeks ago. And he already had competition with Ray Davis, who was a stud last year as a backup. And James Cook just ran into some good variants with touchdowns last year. Was scored 20 touchdowns. Good luck trying to repeat that. When I see James Cook down there with Kyron Williams, Omarion Hampton, guys like that, Travian, maybe not Travian Henderson. I would take.
I actually don't mind Henderson. I just think there's some upside there. My worry about Henderson is that the touchdown variance goes to our guy Ramondre.
Exactly.
Travian gets me 80 yards, but especially on DraftKings with the PPR format, I did think Henderson did well out the backfield from all the scouting reports I read at Ohio State. They were kind of doing the Thunder and Lightning, and he was the Lightning with Judkins being the Thunder there.
Yeah.
So he wasn't getting goal line work at Ohio State either. But especially we're on underdog today in a full PPR. I really like Henderson. Kenneth Walker is a tough click for me, even though I love him as a player. I'm just worried about his health. And I don't mind if we fall here at all. I love Breece Hall at this ADP price. I love RJ Harvey. Although if we draft Harvey, he's not going to start at the beginning of the year. We got to we got to really plan ahead and try and make these Hubbards and these James Connors that I don't really like them as players because they never have highlights that I really like. And, they're kind of just all workload dependent, but I just don't think Harvey's going to have the workload right off the bat. I think it's going to go to Dobbins. And then I think Harvey really starts to come into his own after the Dobbins injury in week 4.
Yeah. I mean, I like Tony Pollard and DeAndre.
Love
Swift
Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
So Swift is someone I'm not high on. I think I've been burned by him too many times. I mean, is he the Kyle Pitts of running backs? How are we doing this with DeAndre Swift again?
Well, we're looking at like who he's got behind him. What it was like? Is there a rookie or something behind him too, or is it just Roshan pretty much as the main?
There's that Mordecai guy, but he's like a late round
Yeah,
flyer. I don't
yeah,
think he really has a chance to overtake it
right.
without
And
injury.
we know Ben Johnson's like love of the running game,
Yeah,
and you know we've seen
especially in the red zone, right? So
right.
yeah, okay, that's a
Yeah,
good point.
yeah.
Let's what do we want to do here? You want to
Ooh,
check the whole board? You want to
yeah,
do Devontae and one of those running backs we were talking about?
yeah. Let's do Devontae. I'll grab him. And if
And then let's
we're looking at those running backs, we got Henderson, we got we got
I
Henderson.
think we go Henderson or Connor here.
All right, let's go with Henderson. I think testing fade for a few years now. We were talking about him, potentially being on the decline when he was with Pittsburgh, and now he's what, like 2-3. He's on his
Yeah, but
third.
he's just it's Derrick Henry
He's
Jr.
the
Like he just keeps
Terminator,
getting
man.
away with it.
Terminator. Yeah.
And the fact that remember we were drafting Trey Benson all summer last year until preseason week 1, and he looked slower than me. And we're like, nope, no more Trey. And I had all this Trey Benson, and I don't think after that first preseason game, I don't think I drafted him once. And it's like, okay, well, at least I pivoted correctly. I used the new information because I remember beginning of the year, we thought, oh, this guy's got a good chance to take over in that running back room. And then it was the exact opposite. He was just nothing to do at all. So checking out some of these other teams here. Is there any, you want to scroll up a little bit so I can see what people are drafting? And see on DraftKings, it's so easy to find people who don't know what they're doing. It's so rare on Underdog. It's just you see so many like home league drafters in there, just no correlation at all. Of all these teams that aren't ours, which start do you like the best here? I see a 3 running back start. That's pretty aggressive, especially because I don't know, a lot of people disagree with me. I'm not high on Jameson Williams or where his ADP is.
Look at this dude, man. Big low kitties with my freaking strategy, dude. Barkley, Brown, Allen, Worthy as his first like that. That's my favorite.
I love Worthy right there. I like, for example, the guy that went before. I think I like Worthy so much more than Jameson this year.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on George Pickens, man? I'm real hesitant to draft a receiver that Tomlin gave up on.
Yep. It's difficult to do. But at the same time, like the situation in Dallas right now, especially getting rid of Parsons, like it's just, to me, like.
But if things go bad, is he one of the guys that's going to cause problems?
True. Yeah. He did get like what kind of contract did he get? Did he get like his bag he was looking for? Like
he got. I mean, it wasn't like ridiculous, but it was definitely commiserate for a player that. The production that he had. I mean, how many of he kept Russell Wilson in the league. Russell Wilson was just throwing. It was just reminding me playing football. Oh, my best player's over there. Let me just throw it really high. Yeah. And just hope he comes down with it because I really can't throw a guy open. And Ted McMillan, another player that I was a little bit down on, but I'm thinking. So I loved him. Wasn't sure about the landing spot with Bryce, and now that things are progressing, I'm kind of going back to my original position. Like Ted McMillan, Metcalf, Sutton. Who are kind of your favorites in that range?
Say those options again.
Just in this kind of range that went with Williams, Worthy, Pickens, McMillan, Metcalf, Sutton. Like, do you have any players that you like, or, that stand out to you? I'd probably go Worthy 1. Sutton 2, Metcalf 3, McMillan 4, Pickens 5.
I do like I like Worthy's situation, especially with the suspension. I like Pickens, obviously. And then I go probably Ted. I'd rather take a chance on Ted. Well, not you know what? Like I might go Sutton then Ted then Metcalf. And I would probably take Williams. I would probably go Worthy, Pickens, Williams or Sutton, Those guys probably interchangeable, and then Ted McMillan, then maybe Metcalf. Like, is it?
All right, let's choose our pick real quick, and then I'm going to make a case for Sutton.
Okay, let's see. Here I like Igbuka.
Is this the whole board?
Yeah.
Now, this does not happen. I've been doing a lot of DK lately. This is insane. Okay, Igbuka is a no-brainer.
Yep. And Pearsall, I think.
Yeah, I would say Pearsall or Odunze. I mean, I love this range. Yeah, Pearsall or Odunze. I'm fine with either.
Yeah,
Pearsall's probably better because we don't have a quarterback yet, and I would rather draft Purdy than Williams.
You know, we got a pretty decent situation happening here, spread as far as a 0 RB build. Or a hero
well,
RB.
It's an anchor. I think it's an anchor RB or whatever. Yeah, hero RB, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Because we
got now we can start filling this in.
Yeah, exactly. So looking at our receivers,
all our quarterbacks are still on the board except for maybe Baker.
Yeah.
Did Baker get taken yet?
I don't know. Let's see. Quarterbacks. Yep, Baker's still there.
Yeah, see,
Brock Purdy is looking at us pretty soon here. He's at 103. So we got a couple rounds before, maybe.
Hey, scroll down a little bit there on the quarterback page.
Yeah.
All right. Bo Nix is ahead of Justin Herbert, Drake May, Jordan Love, and CJ Stroud. And you're telling me his wide receiver 1 is going in the 40s? It doesn't make any sense to me. That's kind of my case for Sutton. If Bo Nix is this high, and you guys are correct about Bo Nix, how is Sutton not that high?
Yeah.
Why are we ranking Sutton as a wide receiver 2 when he's wide receiver 1 on a quarterback that, I mean, what is it? The 10th highest? I don't see the numbers here, but he's 10 or 11. I mean, he's between Herbert and Love.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that's wild to me.
Yeah. No, that
I mean, Dak Prescott's right ahead of him, and his number 1 goes at what, the 4th overall pick? So I'm just shocked, and it's not like there's a lot of target competition there.
I'm kind
and
like
we all like the rookie. What's his name? Bryant. But I mean,
keep in mind these are my rankings too, spread. So these aren't even like the
actual. Okay. I thought it was a little different than how I'm used to seeing the board. I think you have Nick's lower than the normal one is.
If I put it by
ADP, see,
right.
See how high Nick's is going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sutton's got to be higher if Nick's is that good. If there's no way Nick's can pay off his ADP without Sutton drastically overachieving his ADP.
Right. Let's see. I'm with you on that. I think that Sutton is undervalued when you make that case for him for sure. I think Patrick Mahomes is a little bit undervalued too. I think that they're gonna come into this season with a more pass happy mentality. I think they got taken out of that strategy last year because they expected big things out of Hollywood Brown, and then Hollywood Brown ended up getting injured in the preseason, and they didn't get him back until like the last the end of the season. But now he's healthy. Hollywood Brown is going in like the 13th round or something like that. We did see them go, like a little bit more comfortable with Xavier Worthy towards the end of the season. Spread who?
Well, there goes that concept. That's fine. I'm not as high on Mahomes. I think we should be looking at a running back here, and then maybe can you check the other running backs though?
Yeah.
Who are the other ones on the board?
Warren ETN.
Yeah, I think Warren's way better than any of the available ones. I actually don't mind ATM, but I'm not going to pay a premium for him.
Right.
Do we want to go Purdy here? He's not going to be there when we get back.
Yeah, let's grab him. I don't like the other options. Like we could have gone. Well,
the only other one is Baker, but we don't get either. So you choose between Purdy and Baker right now. I think I'd rather have Purdy. They have the easiest schedule in the league.
Yeah, let's go with them. Like Purdy to Pearsall. I like that stack. I do think that Pearsall is going to have a breakout season this year. He was starting to come alive towards the end of last season. We saw it with. I actually picked him as a captain or like a captain in the comments section of the video. I'd done like a lot of digging on Pearsall in that game that he broke out. He had that touchdown. He had like 10 targets in like the first half. They really made an effort to get him involved in the game. And, I kind of got lucky with calling that one, but, it ended up being kind of the breakout game for Pearsall. We saw him get, targeted a decent amount as the rest of the season went on. And now we're in a situation where Juwan Jennings is who knows what's going on with him. He's having a contract dispute. He's having like calf issues or something like that. We got Ayuk. He's out for at least 6 games, it seems. And they don't have anyone else to pass to other than Kittle and McCaffrey. So I think Kittle's going to have a decent beginning of the season, but I think Pearsall is going to be set up here to be the top, obviously, receiver on the offense for the beginning of the season, and that could set him up well in a Shanahan offense.
I think on this build we should be targeting Brian Robinson Jr.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And just the idea, if I am right and McCaffrey is too old and, the Achilles or whatever he hurt gives out on him.
Right.
And that offense with that schedule will be set.
Yeah, we saw it the season before when they went to the Super Bowl. McCaffrey was on that sideline getting massaged constantly. We saw that meme pop up with that one dude that was massaging McCaffrey, if you remember that one. But like he was constantly getting worked on the sideline, so he was already showing signs of wear and tear. And then, of course, his Achilles tore, or had the Achilles issue in the preseason last year. Ended up only playing a couple games. He got hurt again when he came back in, didn't he, Spread? Like, and he ended up getting hurt, and
then they just shut him down because they were eliminated.
Yeah,
with the build that we have so far, I think that we're doing good. I think that we can go best available player, but we still need to give priority to running backs and tight ends.
Yeah.
With Purdy there as well, I think there might be. Boy, if we didn't have an easy schedule, I would definitely say we should get another quarterback right off the bat. But like I said, if there's an ADP value and we keep pushing quarterback back and we just ended up being a Purdy-dependent team, I don't think that's the worst strategy. I mean, when we draft, Josh Allen or Lamar, I usually don't try and get my second quarterback till, late, because my idea is I've already put a second or third round pick in here on one of these guys. I really need them to be good.
Judkins. Have we gotten any news on Judkins?
I don't think he's suspended, and he's supposed to be the number 1 back. He's been flying up the boards.
Not suspended, but I think the problem with
the charges were dropped.
Yeah, well, the charges were dropped, but we're still waiting on him to sign his rookie contract.
So, he hasn't signed yet?
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Or as of a few days ago, anyway. Signing is on hold still. But when he comes in, he's going to be, like I
just want to talk about a bad organization who can't sign their rookies.
Yeah.
Give me a break. Go back to the top of that running back board. Etienne. I love Scatterboo. Let's look at the whole board though.
Higgins.
Oh my guy, Higgins.
Let's grab Higgins here. I like Higgins.
Yeah, we can definitely do some Higgins.
We'll let the time take.
What do we come back with? What do we come back with? Etienne?
Yeah. Or we could go with Drake May, and then we can do like a back end New England stack. I like the rushing upside with Drake May. It kind of complements.
I think we should. Yeah, that's true. I think we should throw up that running back position though.
Okay. Yeah, let's grab Etienne then.
Just because there's probably going to be good quarterbacks still available the next time we're on the board, and I think these running backs, it's going to be all backups. I mean, Etienne's the only starter really left. I mean, I assume Scatterboo is going to be a starter because Tyrone Tracy can't hold on to the ball.
Right. We're going to have our
Chubb. But as of right now, he's not number 1 on the depth chart.
Right. We'll have our Chubb Marks late round opportunity.
Which is a coin flip.
Yeah.
Although I think Chubb could have a really unimpressive year with a bunch of touchdowns.
If we can double tap those guys back to back, I'd take both of them.
And just not worry about getting it right. Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, I think Chubb could get a ton of goal line work.
Yep.
It could be like was it Javonte Williams? No, what was the name? Jamal Williams 2 years ago. The guy in the Lions that saw all the touchdowns. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He had the touchdown leader that season. Yeah, with Chubb, I think Chubb has that Adrian Peterson potential. He's got that work ethic that Adrian Peterson had, where you're like, oh, Adrian Peterson, he's old, he's coming back from a knee injury, he's done.
Yeah.
Chubb's knee injury was more devastating, but at the same time, it's Nick Chubb. Did you I just think that he's got the potential to pull off one of those comeback player of the year type of seasons.
Mm-hmm. A player I always seem to draft is Marvin Mims, and he always seems to just spike in my lineup once or twice. We don't need wide receivers, so we're not even considering him here. But what's your take on Marvin Mims?
I like him too, just because the format, he fits the format perfectly with best ball. Marvin Mims is the guy that we could see score, like 2 touchdowns in a game at any point in the season. And, he's the guy that they're going to turn to, when they get in a situation where, they got a good coverage on Sutton and they're playing from behind and they need to start launching the ball. Like Mims is going to be in the perfect situation in those types of games. And, like for a best ball format, going as late as he's going, I think that it's a good value.
This is another reason when we're looking at the board right now that I like pushing the QB back. I think that Dak, May, and Love, they all have potential to be top 5 quarterbacks. If you get top 5 quarterback in round 10, you should have the wide receivers and running backs, hopefully, to really take advantage of that. What I think is going to be a great ADP value. Trevor Lawrence, a player we haven't talked about yet this year. Are we just a little embarrassed because we loved him last year and he let us down once again? I mean, are you out? I think this is the year I'm finally out on Trevor Lawrence. I just, that new coach, man, he doesn't have a very strong chin. And I just wonder how that plays in an NFL locker room. All kidding aside, though, what do you think of Trevor Lawrence?
I'm giving him another shot. I haven't been drafting a lot of them though. Like I don't mind if he falls to me, but I'm not going out of my way to draft him at the same time. So I'm kind of indifferent towards him, but I don't have a lot of exposure to him. But that's not intentional.
Another Jacksonville player on the board that just got drafted is Tootin. Do you think he has a chance to steal some work and be a significant fantasy player this year?
Yeah, I do. I mean, we've seen these other guys. How many times have been disappointed by ETN? But I will say that the coach speak towards ETN has been very, very positive. So at least the coach speak is there.
Really the best back.
Yeah, best back.
He's cool, but I mean, he doesn't have the explosiveness that ETN has, in my opinion.
Who's that? Tootin?
Tank.
Oh, yeah, no.
And I haven't watched enough Tootin to really know how he compares, but I'm just going off his college tape.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I'm just comparing college tape, I mean, ATN's is much better. One thing we've ignored is tight end.
Yeah.
Do we need to get involved there, or are you fine just pushing it back?
No, I think we should grab Stroud. If we want, even though we don't have him, did we grab Higgins?
I think Stroud's the best. I already told you.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was on the stream. So if we were talking before the show, he has the best playoff schedule.
All right, let's grab Stroud. We got Higgins. We can get the other.
We have 2 quarterbacks with excellent playoff schedules here, Simon.
Yeah, I like Ferguson as my tight end in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, might as well tackle Dallas. Every game is going to be set with a total of 58.
Right. So let's grab Stroud, and then let's grab Ferguson too.
Deal.
We'll just grab him.
We probably need to keep looking at tight end. That was our first tight end, right?
Yeah.
So what I like to do when we push it back is we should probably get it on the next go round too. Just best ADP and then best available tight end.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of cool to do this and not be live where people were listening.
No, eventually, I think on some of the showdown shows this year, I'm going to try some live shows and maybe do it not right before lock, but give enough time to do some analysis and then do some independent building before the
with the showdown it's so much easier to go early, right? You try and do a main slate show. I mean, you should really be on, for the hour before kickoff because you have all those moving parts. But with Showdown, we got a pretty good idea. And if we don't see any, significant names on the injury report as far as how our builds are going to go, a lot of times, or we did it sometimes last year where, we did a show and the kickoff wasn't for 4 hours. And we just said, okay, here's our if then, right? If this guy plays, run this build. If this guy sits, here's how we pivot. So I think Showdown content is kind of cool because unlike a lot of fantasy content, you could do it early. I mean, NBA, we always joked, right? NBA content was pointless to do in the morning.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. One thing too, like our competitors are going to probably, be obviously focused on the NBA slates, while I'm going to be, like focused on Showdown. Cause, I don't do any NBA. I do all, like football. So that'd be a good opportunity for guys.
And it makes sense. So if you're a pro, I think NBA has a bigger edge because, you're competing against guys who are at work and you're sitting there and you're getting all the news, and they're stuck in a meeting or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. And Spread, I'm gonna have a like a secret weapon coming out for Showdown slates. So you make sure to subscribe to this channel because I'm developing a website that's going to be a secret weapon for Showdown types of slates and the main slate, like all slates basically, your props, your DFS drafting, like just everything is going to be covered by this site. It's going to give you a huge edge. And I can't say too much about it, but it's going to be coming up probably like week 3 or 4. But make sure you're subscribed to the channel because you're not going to want to miss the announcement when that comes out. And if you watch my Showdown content, you watch Spread and I on Showdown, like we've been we rely heavily on like certain circumstances that are going to be covered by this by this website I'm creating. Now, Spread, we are up here and let's take a look at the.
We missed our little Brian Robinson execution, but fair enough.
Quick. Rashad White.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to.
Ah, shit. I think we got stuck with
that's not the worst player. I don't mind the Trey Harris take. Let's go Hunter Henry here.
Yeah, Hunter Henry. I'm with you.
I like him more than Ertz. I don't mind Trey Harris as a take, but for our build, we probably needed a running back there. That's probably our first significant mistake we made.
Yeah. But this is like, keep in mind with Spread and I, we're doing this like with a trying to do analysis while we're drafting. So when you see like mistakes like that, don't take it as like an endorsement. Like it's more, oh shit.
Yeah, because if we weren't recording this, we wouldn't need to keep the conversation going the whole time, right? But that's something I did do some radio on my past, Simon, and that was the only thing that you could really get in trouble for was dead air, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Dead air was the big no-no. So I probably am trained to just kind of keep chattering, regardless of how important it is. And I know it's an old thing because the idea was when you were flipping through, probably half our audience has no idea what I'm talking about. But when you were flipping through the channels, that you didn't want to go to nothing because you would obviously just keep going and thinking that station was dead.
Yeah.
You want to look at the whole board and kind of talk about some of these other teams, speaking of keeping the content going while it's not our turn?
Let's see how Big Low Kitties ended up. We got Barkley, Brown, Allen. I like that start. I like Worthy. I like going risky with Hunter, Odunze, Jennings. Like Jennings. I do like Jennings. But I'm not sure what his situation is. We got Andrews, Shaheed. I've been drafting a lot of Shaheed with that build too. Spread, Kraft. Then he goes Tootin. I think Tootin was his first running back that he picked since those the first two. Pretty much the blueprint of what I was talking about. Palmer, another that Allen stack that I was telling you about. Like that's where you start looking at guys like
Palmer is so tough for me. So there's some player takes I don't know if I agree with.
He grabbed Chubb, man. He stole Chubb from us.
Okay, so we like that take, of course. Tyler and I argued about Sam Darnold so much. I'm not gonna Well, I'd love to know what you think, but I'm not going to say anything. If you want to know what
I'm not on.
I say, if you want to know what we think about Sam Darnold, go to any show we did all summer. Are you in or out on Sam Darnold, especially at that ADP?
I'm out. Although I will say, like, if I'm looking for a third quarterback, and I get to a point where it's Darnold or bust, like I'll take Darnold. I don't mind him as a third quarterback, but I wouldn't go planning on him being a second quarterback.
Really? I think he's got potential to be a second quarterback there. Everyone seems to think that his success was just basically a complete product of Kevin O'Connell. And I don't know if I'm there yet. I mean, the physical traits are there. And we're not talking about winning a playoff game, Simon.
All right, Spread, we're coming up real quick.
Yeah, let's get back there. And I meant to not talk about Sam Darnold, so I don't know how I keep falling into this trap. I think we really need to prioritize running back here. I think we should double tap it.
Okay.
Who do you like here in this range?
We're so thin at running back right now.
Yeah.
I don't like any of them. Like, well, I guess Roshan.
I think we go the top two. Top two. Really? Yeah. You like Roshan, huh?
Yeah, because like
that's fine. Because Ford's gone. Do you want to go Johnson Dowdle?
Yeah, we do that. Yeah, let's do that. All right, let's go. I just drafted him now, and then we'll grab Roshan too. Not my favorite picks there. Like we kind of were hoping that Woody Marks would still be there for us. Yeah, but we got Henderson, like really thin at running back. I would have liked to have gotten one more running back. That's probably where that Trey Harris mistake hits us.
Yeah, really hurt us. Yeah.
Yep.
And I would have said we should push tight end back, but I think that when you go that Ferguson Henry route, like you need both of them because they're not going to be consistent guys for you every week.
Right.
The idea is you're hoping that they're ping ponging and they're just having their strong, because we know they're not going to Brock Bowers, TJ McBride week in, week out production.
Right.
And so I think that with this build, I think we've committed to a third tight end. My favorite dumpster dive tight end right now is Noah Gray. I think Kelsey's done. So that would be the dumpster dive guy that I'm picking out there. You don't think we should keep going running back?
We should. I'm just getting some of these receivers in the queue. What do you think of Hopkins? You like Hopkins?
No.
I
think he's washed.
Let's go back up here.
I think how many picks do we have left? Just 2?
Yeah, we're at 17, 18.
I think we need to go one running back, one tight end.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think we're pretty much done with our let's see. I guess if I'm going here, I'm looking at Jarquez.
I don't mind Tosh Brooks at all either. I don't think Chase Brown is the biggest, most durable guy.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a like really any Taj Brooks, so I don't mind that at all.
I like Rashard Smith as well. If we're going to dumpster dive there,
okay.
We can dumpster dive KC style. Is my guy Noah Gray still on the board?
Yeah, let's check it out. I like Gesicki still on the board. You know who? Jatavian Sanders and Theo Johnson are 2 of my favorite late round picks too.
Or the last one we could go for is Schultz, just with the idea that we have CJ. So pretty good options for our last 2 picks. I think it's because, usually when I do content, I do it with Tyler on DK, and we have 2 more rounds to go to. So I usually just pick up some like pop culture stuff to talk about in the last 2 rounds because it's really hard. All these players really, we're not even scouting their individual talent right now. It's going to be opportunity, and most of the opportunity is going to be because of luck. It's not that we don't understand Taj Brooks' strengths and weaknesses as a player. It's just Chase Brown is better, and if he doesn't get hurt, Brooks probably won't have much of an opportunity. If Chase Brown goes down in week 2, we're sitting on a gold mine, and all of a sudden, I'm really excited about this team, and I'm messaging you and calling my accountant, figuring out how we're going to work out all the taxes from when we're splitting this win. So that's kind of the way I look at this one.
I'd say with this
build, we go Schultz.
With Taj, Schultz. With Taj Brooks, we we don't have to worry like if Chase Brown goes down, like somebody kind of leapfrogging him like Samaje Perine. Samaje Perine's going to keep his role. He's going to be the passing down back. It's not like he's going to be moved into that workhorse role. So I think Taj Brooks will be set up there. I like Schultz. I'm with you on Schultz as our final pick. There's plenty of upside with Schultz.
I mean, if we didn't have CJ, I would have pounded the table for Noah Gray if they were all going to be naked.
Yep.
But at this point, I think the correlation wins, right? I mean, you get a couple CJ to Dalton touchdowns, and boy, I mean, I know one of those matchups is the Raiders. We've never been able to cover a tight end, and that's week 16, I believe. And I can't remember where it is, but they both have indoor stadiums. So I think that's a great opportunity to maybe get some of those sprint points there. Overall, what do you think of this team? I think in spite of, I mean, that Trey Harris could be one of those gaffes that we end up loving because if that offense gets humming, and Najee doesn't play well and they end up passing a little bit more, I think Trey Harris is an excellent player, and I think he could have a lot of opportunity, especially if Allen continues to slow down.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. Trey Harris, he was getting some good buzz in the beginning of the offseason. I don't know what happened to him. Where
I think it was the Keenan Allen signing.
Keenan Allen. I think even before that, though, people were starting to get down on him. Like I was hearing less positive stuff.
Was it something that he actually did, or was it like Slater got hurt? And to me, Slater's injury affected the wide receiver room a lot more than it did the running back room, because he wasn't this elite. I mean, he's a great, fine run blocker, right? But that's not where you're really losing it. Where you're really hurting with Rashawn Slater missing the year is pass protection. So
So if we're going through this, we got Brian Thomas, who I love. Oh, you know what? And that would have set us up for Trevor Lawrence too. I didn't even think about that.
I'm fine staying away from Trevor.
Yeah.
Like I said, ride the streak. I mean, 4 years in a row, he's disappointed me. What's to stop it from being 5?
Right. We got Drake London, who we talked about the NFC South. I think we did, anyways. At least this is preseason, pre-show we did. But you've heard me talking about the NFC South in all my best ball shows if you've been watching. I love that division this year. I think it's going to be shootouts left and right. They all got like tons of obviously dome games. So we're not going to have as many weather concerns, and the matchups for some of these teams going into the playoffs. Like I'm gonna use Atlanta as an example here. Spread. Give me 1 second. Atlanta's playoff schedule. Week 17, we are looking at the Rams. So that's got some shootout potential. Last year, the Rams were pretty weak against quarterbacks and the passing game. I'm not sure how much they've improved their defense this year, but based on last year, that's looking like a pretty tasty matchup. And then they got the Tampa Bay Bucks in week 15. So that's shootout potential. All their games though in the playoffs are in domes pretty much, except for against Tampa Bay. They're playing at Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay, we got a warm weather game, so we don't necessarily have to worry about that. If we get wind or rain, then we'd be a little bit more concerned. But like that's looking like a good playoff setup for Atlanta. I just like them in general this season. But yeah, it's definitely seeing the playoff schedule there helps out. And then we're looking at like Carolina probably has the weakest schedule out of all the NFC South teams, because they got like only 3
in my opinion. I mean, the Saints, obviously,
weakest team too. Like 3 dome games.
We did our NFC South preview on Monday, and my guy 5-star and I both agreed that it's a 2-team race. I mean, I would be shocked, just shocked. I mean, New Orleans, there's no way.
Yeah,
and Carolina would be the story of the century, and Canales would be coach of the year, hands down. Right. A team would have to go 17-0 or something to even compete.
I mean, New Orleans is in such bad shape. They just announced.
Spencer they're going for Arch. They're going for Arch.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
It's plain and simple. So
Yep. So we got Drake London, We got Devontae Adams. I love our
Love that in
receivers.
the third round. I
Yep.
love that in the third round.
We're looking at Trayvon Henderson, or what's the first name there? Travion.
Travion. Yeah.
So he's going to be, like a kind of a wild card for us as our hero RB. He showed some burst in the preseason, like a monster touchdown, at least in the first game. Did he score a touchdown? I can't remember if in the second game he scored one of those big touchdowns too, but he had a big touchdown in the first game. He looked explosive, so I like him there. The only problem is Ramondre. Like we were saying the same thing about him a couple years ago, and he's still on the team. So Ramondre.
To be fair, I mean, there's not many workhorse backs though. So in the fourth round, you're not getting a workhorse unless you get Trevor Hubbard.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I like that
James Conner.
Yeah, that mid round like start by that other team. So we got Igbuka and we got Pierce. Like our wide receivers are just like studs, man. We're all set at wide receiver. We got Jalen Warren. We even added on Higgins as another wide receiver, but that worked out for us because we were.
Sure, I'll be getting a text later that I draft too much Jaden Higgins. So
yeah, we got Purdy as our lead quarterback. And then we got Stroud. We both think that Stroud is going to have a better season this year. ETN is our second.
To me, he's the single biggest mispriced of all the ADP.
ETN? Yeah.
No, Stroud.
Okay, Stroud. Yeah, that makes sense.
To me, he's like a surefire, like top 7 guy. Yeah. We got him in round 11.
I would say
I would be shocked, barring injury, if he's not in the top 7.
Right. I would say, like, if we get what we want, like head coach, and the talk that he's talked about ETN, being the guy, like at least that's kind of like the buzz that I heard. And like I haven't really followed it like for the last couple of weeks, so I mean that could be completely different now. But like the talk was like they were asking the coaches questions like, so with ETN like falling off or whatever, like we're gonna see more Tank Bigsby, and they were all like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Like they were acting like the question was crazy. Really stand behind ETN, but Tootin, though, like Tootin just got like so much like it seemed like he was just climbing throughout the offseason. So I would not be surprised to see like Tootin leading that back.
Well, I think that was the direct result of Bigsby's fumbling problems.
Yeah.
Because I think he clearly went to the number 2 with the team that, although Cohen did ride Bucky Irvin pretty hard last year after starting in the split role. Right. So someone could emerge there by playoff time, and that would be nice for us.
Yeah. We'll see it between ETN and Tootin most likely, I believe. But like this could be a good pick, like a huge value, or it could be like a
waste, complete waste. Yeah.
So Stroud, we got Ferguson as our first tight end, and Henry. I like our tight ends. Like with
for our strategy, we implemented it perfectly. I mean, you weren't running that strategy. We weren't going to be sitting there with George Kittle and Mark Andrews, right?
Let's look at some of these running backs we could have taken instead of Harris. This could have been where we took Chubb at that pick. We would have had opportunities with Ollie Gordon. Like
so. Let's just say we redid it. Who would you have taken? I would have argued for Ollie Gordon. Would you have wanted Chubb?
I would argue for Chubb. Yeah. But I do like both.
I would have capitulated pretty easy. I'm just telling you, I probably would have gone for Ollie Gordon, and then of course is coming up the news that Jalen Wright.
You know what?
He's going to miss the first 4 weeks, which sucks because I have so much Jalen Wright.
I take that back spread because this was round 13, so Chubb would have been gone before us. So so Ollie Gordon would have been layup, I think, in that situation.
Yeah.
If we weren't like rushing.
If Ford was still on the board, would you have taken him over Dowdle?
If who?
Jerome Ford was still on the board. I kind of wanted him over the 2 we got. I think that was a good pick by that guy.
Yeah, I probably would have gone Ford over Dowdle. Yeah. But like Dowdle, He showed some flashes in Dallas last year, so I'm not completely disappointed with Dowdle in the 15th round. So
He might be the best running back on that team.
yeah.
I mean,
We'll
I don't
see.
think Miles Sanders is much anymore, and
No, Miles Sanders.
Chuba. I mean,
Like, I'm not
Chuba's a
even.
little better, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not even considering Miles Sanders. I think it's between Dowdle and.
Oh, my bad. I think Miles Sanders is on freaking Dallas this year. My mistake.
That's
It's
right.
Hubbard that I was thinking of. Another unimpressive running back that seems to get a lot of fantasy points.
Right. We got Roshan. Roshan, I think that he's going to have a role in this offense. And, if we look at the comparison with the season that you were talking about earlier with Jamal Williams, like I think Roshan could potentially have, like that type of role. But we'll have to see how that plays out in Chicago. I do think that Swift is going to have a major, obviously, role in that offense, and I think that I like the coaching change there for Swift. He played for Ben Johnson before, before he got traded to the Eagles from Detroit. Was that the first team they got traded from? But they were really down on Swift because he wasn't like running between the tackles, I think, spread. How do you think that's going to play out?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Yeah, because if he can't learn that, then that's big for Roshan. Because isn't Roshan more of a between the tackles guy?
Yeah, I mean, the thing with the Chicago backs is none of them have a lot of speed. So
Right.
Swift is probably the fastest, but like you said, if he's not implementing the game plan, he's not going to get any around.
Right. So that leaves us.
Taj Brooks is. Oh, go ahead. I'd say Taj Brooks is just our injury flyer.
Right.
That's all you're taking at this point,
Injury player, and then Schultz, like was a guy that we needed for our stack, just to further that stack, and we needed a third tight end. So otherwise, we would have gone with Noah Gray there, per spreads analysis.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, make sure to hit the like button. I'll try and get another one of these shows out before the season starts, but definitely keep an eye out. Subscribe to the channel. You're going to want to subscribe to get that showdown content and the main slate content, because that's all year last year we were picking picks out of our ass, just completely under-owned guys that were going off on a weekly basis. And just cooking all season last year, especially in the beginning of the season. The beginning of the season is when it's easiest. That's when you're finding the biggest values on DraftKings. A lot of people haven't done as much research heading into the season. They're not as familiar with the landscape. So that's another advantage, for guys that focus mainly on NFL, as opposed to trying to cover every sport. In every player, when you're focused on one sport, you tend to come into these seasons better prepared. So that's another reason to subscribe to this channel. And make sure to hit the like the video. Looking for about 20 likes to put out the next video. And on top of that, check out the shorts. Been doing individual player focuses on the shorts. Covered Torrey Horton, covered Pat Bryant, and I covered Emeka Egbuka recently. So going to do another one of those coming up here pretty soon. I'll focus on a running back for my next one. And make sure to check out Spread's content. Obviously, Spread, where's your content this season?
I mean, I'm doing so much. The main NFL content will be over with Meg on FanSpeak. We'll be doing the NFL betting card every Tuesday. I think we're going to switch to 7 p.m. Eastern. But I got to talk with Tyler and confirm. But we'll do an NFL betting card every Tuesday. Over at Nuke the House, I will be doing an NFL Friday show with Holden at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. And, of course, if you follow me at Spreadster, I'll have plenty of written content for NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball.
Nice. So good stuff with Spread. Thanks for joining me, dude. Make sure to sign up for that Underdog account. Use the promo code SEEK. They'll match you up to, match you 50% up to $1,000 on your first deposit. So you're going to want to check that out. Get it before it goes away, because it's going away. And, I'm going to be pushing a different promo probably very, very soon here before the beginning of the season. So make sure to take advantage of that. Get that free money while you can. And we'll see you next time.